My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system, which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. Notice: intellectual property theft is particularly egregious and equally unlawful where the sole inventor and creator of the intellectual property is the targeted individual. Erica Lorraine Spencer, subject to the unconstitutional and inhumane government system of gang stalking, otherwise referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices, because of which the intellectual property created by the targeted individual, who is, in fact, Erica Lorraine Spencer, as the intellectual property also proves, serves to establish via evidence and expose the existence of criminal surveillance and thus an inherent threat posed by the U.S. government and the civilian population sharing engagement in the unlawful system. Such evidence, that includes all of the content created by Erica Lorraine Spencer, images, videos, audio, etc., belongs solely and entirely to Erica Lorraine Spencer only and is necessarily published online in order to protect her life, safety, and liberty as the targeted individual, who is also the intellectual property owner, no less protected from theft procured through targeting by a public entity. Theft of any intellectual property belonging to Erica Lorraine Spencer, which is necessarily committed while she, being both creator and inventor, remains oppressed by the public entity via criminal surveillance, is a criminal and inhumane means of infringement under all circumstances and not protected nor enforceable pursuant to any invalid or fraudulent acts of copyright, trademarks, patents, etc., including as it pertains to any ideas associated with or generated from the intellectual property or the intellectual property owner, Erica Lorraine Spencer, whether creative, business, or otherwise, nor does the intellectual property owner consent to any such means of infringement and theft. Hello, my name is Erica Spencer, and this is the P.O.C. podcast. The following is documentation captured today. It is September 9th, 2025, and the documentation includes what is the people of the state, documented chiefly by podcast and by what is facilitating venues, which is a term regarding, it's in reference to a location where I am at, for example, a business, or even, and it's not only an establishment, but a business such as public transportation. These are the things that I am documenting with regard to the entity, the public entity that is stalking, pursuant to what is criminal surveillance and monitoring, which is demonic. And documentation is highlighting what happened yesterday morning coming from Economy Inn at 231 South Euclid Avenue, and what happened this morning coming from 415 North Euclid Avenue, which is relevant to the greater pattern of conduct, speaking to what is documented via this podcast of the government that is engaged in criminal surveillance and is documented, proven to be stalking me as a whole population and as a corrupt government system, and doing so in furtherance of committing murder. The conspiracy to commit murder is that which is executed by targeting, and targeting in the demonic and psychologically torturous ways that the state of California is. This is P.O.C. License plate 9CMZ826, 9CFW254, 8SOA321, Omnitrans, state actor, facilitating venue, proven through what is the entity keeping a fake sun in perfect alignment with me, where I am situated on the bus, regardless of the route, regardless of what time of the day, and that entity that is acting via that state actor Omnitrans, associated with the corrupt and dangerous leadership of terrorist leader Alan D. WAPNER. This venue is also documented maintaining engineer light at nightfall as well. License plate 1613612. This is bus number 1222. Monitoring me while maintaining a business, corrupt, while maliciously engaging in the government system of federal group stalking and monitoring. That is, Omnitrans is gang stalking me in concert with his patrons who are gang stalking, and doing so while letting those third parties off of the bus. And this is that bus. That's Route 83 at 6:03 a.m. before the fake sunrise along Euclid Avenue. And I'm also capturing engineered light while Omnitrans is engaging in that P.O.C. while simultaneously making money. This is exposing public corruption and the corrupt businesses. Every business in the state of California, every type of business is engaged in criminal surveillance. License plate 7BHW970. License plate. This is Red Line Crane Incorporated. And the California for this business, it's a large truck I'm documenting at the Ontario Town Square. They're engaged in monitoring. They're in the middle of the street pacing, very disturbing behavior while you're looking at businesses engaging in the satanic conduct designed to monitor. It's also psychologically harmful while a population of people are together stalking one person, doing so in a manner that they presuppose that the target individual would not know about, would not understand, would not be able to prove, rather, and that is designed to psychologically torture that person. This is domestic terrorism while every person, including businesses, are engaging in that, and that's what they're doing, as I'm documenting at the Ontario Town Square at 6:08 a.m. This is California 600940 for that business, and the license plate of Red Line Crane Incorporated, the California license plate 44436P1. License plate 8XFP041. And let me confirm that. Yeah. The license plate 9EHB581. License 7PYU163. License 9UHL270. License 9NN0897. License 9NNG897. If I did not already read that one. License plate. And engaging in what is targeting and harassment, what is psychological torture in concert with the government. The city of Ontario is captured in this image at 7:34 a.m. while I am at 215 East C Street, the OVITT Family Community Library, where I'm documenting the fake sun in its zenith over the top of my head at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and it is present at this same address while I am documenting the people of the state who are domestic terrorists and who use the children that they are in custody of to share in terrorism in the United States, to share in psychologically torturing American citizens whom they are terrorizing. And they also engage children in sexual violence, for example, stalking an American citizen in a bathroom, and have those children purposely in that environment to create activity. And I've also documented the entity, by the way, demon possession is not limited to the age of majority, obviously. And not only that, these children, I have also observed malice. So it's not just the parents that are engaging in criminal activity, thereby contributing to the delinquency of minors. Many of these children are maliciously acting. This demonic spirit operates over them, and they are aware of the significance of what they're doing. And this is just corruption. This is just mental illness, actually, psychopathic behaviors. And again, it's present in the population, and you're told something else, you're conditioned about what you think mental illness looks like and behaves like, and it is existing amongst those under the age of majority. While this condition, demon possession, is rampant through a population and includes children. The entity also uses children that are not necessarily privy of or aware of the malice of their parents that are using them as a means of gang stalking. Okay, but I have witnessed that mature spirit on young children, and it is that same demonic spirit. So just want to point that out. But nonetheless, with regard to the government and prosecution, that's the contribution to the delinquency of minors. It's domestic terrorism that you're engaging in, and you're doing it with children. You're committing a sex act, and you're doing it with children while you're gang stalking, and while you're gang stalking in bathrooms, while you're engaging in the sex offensive molestation. They do it with their kids in the car. They do it with their kids in whatever facilitating venue. They do it while they're holding their hands with the kids. When you're looking at public corruption and the entity is doing so, as the ordinary nuclear family, you're looking at the entity engaging in public corruption, including children in that. And it is not a picture perfect image of civilization. It's a picture of what is corruption. It's a picture of perversion. It's a picture of what is literally a tragic state of being that this that the people, that this entity, the government, this state of affairs that we're in at this point in time. It's speaking to what is very, very much very troubling. Okay, because on the surface you're looking at what's supposed to appear one way to you, and it's actually very despicable. It's actually very malicious, and it's quite disgusting. That's what the entity is doing in the state of California with children. They are included in what is terrorism. They're included in sexual violence, and they are also the object of such sexual violence while you're engaging in gang stalking with children. All right, and so that's relevant to the gang stalker license 12971A4, targeting me with the city of Ontario, stalking in the path with peculiarized light, where the fake sun is at. That is where the entity is engaging in a pattern of maintaining some method of flashing of light, the outward demonstration of mental illness, in the same way that pacing all around me, which the whole population is doing under a fake sun, is the outward demonstration of mental illness. Okay, and I do capture the entity engaging in that, and these are demons that are not, they're not getting up in the morning and having a meeting with the demon possessed that are operating the dumpster trucks. They are acting in sync with one another with regard to targeting me. They're doing so in the specific environment with knowledge of who I am, and they're doing so with that demonic synchronicity because they are of the same spirit. They're both demon, they're all demon possessed. Okay, that's where you have that. The dumpster truck, which is the city of Ontario, Paul Leon, responsible for the criminal activity that the municipality is engaging in while terrorism is underway, and the population that's engaging in that P.O.C. All right, finding any and every way in which they are engaging in those elements of monitoring, doing so with minor children. License plate. (9PGY038) 7JLZ748. License RFC VRG. That's an out-of-state license plate on a white Mercedes parked inside of the parking garage of the 320 North Euclid Avenue, the Ontario downtown so-called luxurious apartments, where I'm capturing the fake sun at 7:39 a.m. And I'm reminding you about the fact that the entity has the fake sun at the same time. Before I got on the Omnitrans bus yesterday morning, and I documented very heavily in images a fake sun keeping in alignment with me in the direction north, low enough to be seen through the window, positioned through the window that I'm standing next to on that bus, and the people of the state are engaging in the same systematic means of monitoring. This is surveillance. It is gang stalking committed in furtherance of murder in order to psychologically torture that person before that person is sacrificed, before that person is murdered as an entity. All right? But I have today nowhere near 2301 South Euclid Avenue, yet at the same time the fake sun is remaining at a different location in alignment to the same person. In doing so, while I am showing you and juxtaposing those two addresses, which also happen to be on the same street, where you, wherever you are listening in this country, it is impossible that you would have the sun over you, while I show you an ongoing consistent pattern of conduct, which is relevant to recognizing the environment that surrounds me. Because of the exclusivity of the sun, it is evidence that is relevant to you regarding what surrounds you. Okay. License 6HFS746. License SIRSCAT. License 7DVL152. License EF42L32, that's a paper plate on a white Chevy SUV. License 9NYS333. License 8S U.S. That's 8 Sam, Uncle Sam 710. License 9KPK067. License 9MHN922. License 8UQV096. The Ontario Fire Department is engaging in criminal summoning under the fake sun that is at 8:42 a.m. over me at the Ontario Town Square at 224 North Euclid Avenue. Criminal summoning is a federal offense committed by the government that is criminally misusing emergency vehicles while they're engaged in criminal summoning under the malicious guise that is also relevant to psychological torture, targeting American citizen under the malicious guise of engaging in what is the provision of emergency services. You're going toward an emergency, some sort of health check, some sort of fire, when all they're doing is stalking and monitoring and harassing and terrorizing in order to psychologically torture an American citizen. And that is proven by the evidence that supersedes what Michael Gerken and any demon of that Ontario Fire Department documented under the fake sun that remains over that Ontario Town Square until after 6 p.m., where you are engaging in the elements of monitoring and anything that you are stating that you are doing pursuant to the criminal misuse of emergency vehicles regarding public corruption committed by the City of Ontario, including the corrupt leadership of Michael Gerken and that Ontario Fire Department, is used as what is an admission in federal court. Okay, this is at 8:42 a.m. where the Ontario Fire are engaging in what is criminal summoning. And they do so as I document and but publish the evidence that I documented onto the Google Drive. Seconds later, they immediately sound sirens. License 9LIW650. The United States Postal Service is gang stalking an African-American woman operating a United States Postal Service vehicle at the 506 North Euclid Avenue Chevron, where the entity is gang stalking me on video yesterday evening at that same Chevron as I walk out, and the entity is monitoring where it is that I buy my food, which is relevant to the threat by that entity that is monitoring in furtherance of the conspiracy to commit murder and tracking my steps. And this is the same Euclid Avenue where the United States Postal Service is gang stalking at 9:27 a.m. This video is captured, let's see, yeah, it's published online yesterday after 5 p.m. It's at 6:45 p.m. where I'm at the same address where the United States Postal Service and all the rest of the people of the state, that's the state acting with the people. The United States Postal Service represents the federal government that is engaged in criminal surveillance, as I've documented well before the USPS. The United States Postal Service is gang stalking me before today. I've been documenting the pattern of conduct and the ways in which the United States Postal Service and any and every other mail courier is engaged in what is targeting. Targeting with regard to theft of my property, targeting with regard to the theft of my vehicle, and the denial of justice, and all the ways in which that has been executed against me to oppress me, all right? And also in furtherance of the conspiracy to commit murder as an entity as well. United States Postal vehicle, that vehicle that USPS is operating has the vehicle number 3424139, and it is indeed an African-American female that is operating that vehicle, or at least she looks toasted brown enough, okay? Beautiful skin tone, just for purposes of documentation. I was focused on capturing the vehicle upon her exiting that venue, and I am capturing the location where she is at. She is a part of the same entity targeting me, the United States Postal Service, that has the fake sun over the 1555 East Holt Boulevard during the 8 a.m. hour. Is not going to be over the 506 North Euclid Avenue Chevron, okay, at 9:27 a.m. and remaining until after 6 p.m. like I documented yesterday evening. This is documenting that consistency of the inconsistent environment where this entity is proven to be engaged in targeting me amongst everyone else. The target individual is a very real person, a very real status, and it is a basis for prosecuting the government for what shall be domestic terrorism. All right, license plate 8V76187. License 7EPS 221. License 9UKB 097. License 9SGT 297. XNA 132. Six 4671Z2, 7LRJ562, 8XME832. Again, that's the number 8. X Mary, E as in Erica, 832. 7EQL439. Brightview, again, routinely, regularly, systematically engaged in criminal surveillance and furtherance of the conspiracy to commit murder, while they are regularly at the Ontario Town Square engaging in public corruption, simultaneously engaging in what are corrupt business practices, both engaging in what is landscaping with the City of Ontario, for the City of Ontario, making money while gang stalking, and that's malice, and that's also relevant to psychological torture, while the entity engages in such malicious means of targeting an American citizen under the guise of normalcy in everyday life, which is supposed to result in the false depiction of an American citizen that lacks evidence to prove that they're being targeted. That's relevant to malice. License plate 6WHF617. All right, this. Erica Lorraine Spencer here. The following is an audio version of video evidence that is captured for purposes of mass distribution, which is why I am capturing it and sharing it on the podcast for evidentiary purposes, and also to reveal the wealth of documentation that extends beyond what it is that I document on podcasts. Much of the video and images will be published onto the YouTube channel, the P.O.C, and it is also shared on the Google Drive. Again, this is for purposes of revealing what I remain subject to, which is federal group stalking and monitoring. It is a demonic system of state surveillance that the government is practicing in concert with the people of the state, and it should be known and well understood that for the government to engage in federal group stalking and monitoring, this is a crime that is committed with a criminal purpose to threaten the life of an American citizen. This is to conspire to murder and or permanently kidnap an American citizen while engaging in a perpetual sex offense in concert with the people of the state. All right, it is currently 7:54 a.m. If you'll recall my documentation just yesterday, I am not even on Omnitrans yesterday, Route 83 going northbound up Euclid Avenue, where you're looking at the third parties and the state The demons under Michael GERKEN's corrupt leadership. This is a demon-possessed gang stalker. You know this by the impossibility that the son will be in the same position where this corrupt department is engaging gang stalking right here at 12:13 p.m. where the fake son's in the same position where a Casada, a homosexual wearing an Ontario police uniform with the sex offenders of the Ontario Fire Department, gang stalking and pulling up in a fire truck with its lights on with the sex offenders and the terrorists of AMR ambulance right here, who think that when you see police, fire, and ambulance that it equals legitimacy, and it does not in the specific environment where criminal surveillance is underway, where the demons are gang stalking using commercial planes. In an environment where the fake son is in the same position over the same library, 215 U.S.C Street, you're looking at impunity while the government is gang stalking, engaging in terrorism and furtherance of murder on video in real time, doing so in concert with the people of the state, showing you their demon possession while I'm capturing the evidence of that supernatural environment remaining around me while I'm subject to surveillance with that same level of impunity with regard to my life and safety and rights under the Constitution and my human rights. The entity is engaging in what is keeping the fake son while I'm at 2155 South Euclid Avenue. I'm still sitting at the U.S. Fuels where I'm documenting the Ontario International Airport gang stalking flying over the sidewalk while I'm at that bus stop capturing that. And that fake sun is shining in all of its brilliance right here. And what you also saw at this address is the fake sun over this crime scene where the people of the state that are monitoring your vagina engage in what is pacing just like they are now stalking with light. That's a demon that's listening. All of the entity is listening. This is surrounding. This is terrorism while demons are under a fake sun that's in the same position 5 hours later. That's how a Casada is under it. And this is her sex offending partners engaging what is circling around the demon-possessed people of the state. And it's called criminal summoning. It's not a health check. It's not a traffic stop. It's criminal surveillance committed as an entity of demons, by the way, and it's public corruption exposed. This is 215 East C Street under the fake sun that's at Euclid Avenue in Philadelphia right now. Yesterday, license to 86970E4, and that's a state actor, not a private citizen, and that's a prosecution for gang stalking. I'm documenting the license plates engaging impunity. The entity is engaging what is domestic terrorism and psychological torture in the face of that evidence that they are also keeping under surveillance and furtherance of murder, and that's relevant to the prosecution of the entity, and it's the disbanding of the Ontario Police. Look at this fake sun move as I move, just like you saw on video at 12:13 in the afternoon, where the sun would not be over the same building. It's not going to be behind them. Remember when I go inside of the library at 10 o'clock and I go to the back of the library, where do you see the fake sun? Outside of that back portion of that library after 10 a.m., where demons go inside of the library keeping my vagina under surveillance, going in the bathroom stalking. 9EFM640, the homosexuals who are predators with the predators of the male gender, gang stalking one woman together. Okay? And this is what they're doing to your children, keeping your children's genitalia under surveillance in bathrooms, sexually violating them in ways that you are unaware of while you're subject to criminal surveillance and a whole satanic environment. This is a circus while they're being exposed as engaging in criminal surveillance. This is the entity that's gang stalking by the Ontario International Airport. This is the entity that's gang stalking by the City of Ontario. This is the entity that's gang stalking by the people of the state. These demons are engaging in what is pacing all around. They're not pedestrians, and this is not traffic. That's why the fake sun is here. And I have not even gotten on Omnitrans yesterday. And that fake sun moves north up Euclid Avenue, but it's already here. And it's still here at 12:13 p.m. where the Ontario Police are monitoring me. Very specific pattern of conduct. This is P.O.C. 320 North Euclid Avenue. That entire apartment complex, they're engaging in surveillance. Impossible light on the roof inside of that parking garage, which I've already captured on video, while those demons are monitoring. That's mental illness evident while they engage in stalking with light. And it's psychological torture, and the homosexuals that are stalking in the bathroom. This is the prosecution of the government engaging what is a sex offense committed by a public entity, the perpetual sex offense. It is currently 7:58 a.m. This is demonic. These are demons, and this is pacing. This is what Satan is doing amongst multiple bodies, pacing. And this is what they're doing while the fake sun is in the same position, the maintenance of an illusion. The fake sun is in the same position over the top of my head while I'm at the same location at 12:13 p.m. where I captured what is a federal offense referred to as criminal summoning. This is P.O.C. All right, monitoring my vagina and meeting at the entrance doors, license plate 9HQS529. Okay, the homosexual that enters into the bathroom on behalf of an entity, on behalf of the state, on behalf of the government, that is obsessed with my vagina. That obsession is shown through the maintenance of a whole fake sun, which is over the entry of the OVITT Family Community Library, both at 8 a.m. and again as I walk to the entrance, and it's in the same position over that same entrance at 10 a.m. You'll see that screenshot. Both images are captured. I put them together so you can see it in a screenshot with the time.
And that's, again, the isolation of a universe where 7HDP452 is monitoring my vagina and going into the bathroom as they maintain that demonic synchronicity with regard to timing, with regard to engaging in the pattern of conduct in the manner that I am speaking of, while in that specific environment, while engaging in what is stalking with light, stalking with noise, with simultaneity to my physical movement. That demonic synchronicity takes on a sexually perverted character when a demon that knows what's going on inside of the restroom stall while they are stalking and engineer light inside of that bathroom, while the fake sun remains over that building speaking to nothing other than surveillance, including in the bathroom, and a homosexual female entering on behalf of all of that entity enters in to merely engage in what is sexually perverted means of psychological torture and stalking with activity while they are monitoring your genitalia. And that is, again, the homosexual that enters in, waits until my legs are spread apart, waits until my hands are necessarily when you're relieving yourself and you touch your genitalia. That's when this demon engages in what is activity creation. That's a demon that's monitoring my vagina and doing so as a homosexual that's entering into a bathroom on behalf of the government that has no legitimate interest in what's between my legs. And they do that pursuant to children, your children, and their own. Okay? Monitoring my vagina, license 6 EWC 171, 8 VCW 463. These are all sex offenders. 8 RFV 740. 9 EIK 039, 9 FSS 114, 1 UBR 806, 8 XTH 564, 4 UIL 713, 9 BJP 686. They're all doing the same thing they were doing at 7 in the morning with the fake sun in the same position, monitoring my vagina. 4 WVJ 363. Crossing path, driving into the same parking garage where the fake sun was over me at Philadelphia and Euclid yesterday. And it's in the same position right now at the same parking garage. 8 RRK 949. You know what that plane activity tells you? That Alaska Airlines is monitoring my vagina under the fake sun, and I'm going to prosecute Alaska Airlines for engaging in sexually perverted means of criminal surveillance and furtherance of psychological torture before committing murder as an entity, while Alaska Airlines maintains no flights over the OVITT Family Community Library, and in no environment does the sun remain over one address, and the sun cannot simultaneously be in Florida while I'm documenting it at the same entrance in alignment to me 2 hours earlier. And still at the same location, where then you understand 2 hours from now at 12:13, the homosexual A. Casada of the Ontario Police is sharing in that sexual violence, obsessed with my vagina, which is the character of the demon-possessed who are engaging in this satanic and sexually perverted. It is a sexual deviant focus to engage in gang stalking. Understand that it's a sex offense. An egregious one committed as an entity. Alaska Airlines, that company, the people of the state, a commercial means of gang stalking, is entering into the bathroom to engage in what is activity creation with knowledge regarding my vagina, to engage in that demonic synchronicity concerning my genitalia in that bathroom. And that's why you have planes that are not taking off. You're flying miles away from the Ontario International Airport, Alaska Airlines, to fly over Paul Leon's office while he's engaged in gang stalking and monitoring my vagina. And you're doing so under a fake sun that's sitting here after 12 o'clock, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 o'clock while it's still here, while 6WHF 617 shares in a sex offense, an egregious one committed before this entity also commits murder while they're obsessed with my vagina in doing so. These are the pedophiles that are engaging in gang stalking. They're sex trafficking children. They have sex with children. They're sexually perverts. They're sexual perverts that focus in on children. In the way in which I'm showing you they're sexually violating me and gang stalking me, they focus all of this on children. License 8 JCA 109, and sexual violence is much more common than you know. Okay? It's much more common than you know. This is P.O.C. while the government practices sexual violence. That's how prevalent it is. It's 10:15 a.m. This is documentation of bathroom monitoring at the so-called Family Community Library. A bunch of sex offenders inside of the library. P.O.C.
Audible activity, light activity, relevant positioning, and the people of the state. Together. This is where the fake sun rises in alignment to me in the morning. This is where the fake moon is. This is how you're understanding demons that are targeting. And they're also targeting while they fly over my head. And I'm documenting a pattern of flying over me, flying circles above me, following me from place to place, and doing so in the environment where the fake sun rises and sets right here on this street, Euclid Avenue. The demon-possessed are the people of the state that are stalking in bathrooms. Stalking, that's surveillance. He's been sitting there for about 15 minutes with his lights on. He's stalking with light. With the Ontario Police, they're all engaged in federal stalking on the video of the internet. C. Torres, L. Martinez, B. Hook, Nathan Morgan, C. Hazelwood, Owens, Alex Escobar, A. Quesada, they're going to federal prison. This is P.O.C. This is the entity that committed kidnapping. And this is the entity that surrounded Gloria's Cochinas at 3 o'clock in the morning. And all they were doing was stalking with light. And the entity is engaged in the same conduct of stalking me by helicopter like they did. The entity that's engaged in kidnapping while engaged in criminal monitoring with the state is going to federal prison. This is P.O.C. and these people are stalking right here. They're in engineer light. While they're kissing and hugging, they're creating activity. He's not even actually interested in this chubby thing with this too short of a dress while they're gang stalking with the police. This is mental illness, and these are the homosexuals that stalk me in the bathroom, and they do so on behalf of the Ontario Police Department that gang stalk by helicopters everywhere that I'm at. And they're doing it in this environment. This is P.O.C. Gloria's Cochinas is at 401 North Euclid Avenue. That's license 63007C4. This is P.O.C. This is Crossing Path. The venue is closed. She's monitoring with the Ontario Police. That's being disbanded. Okay? This is the tackiness that's stalking me in bathrooms, homosexuals that are engaged in this P.O.C. under the fake moon. This is mental illness and sexual violence of a homosexual nature, and it's also mental illness while the Ontario Police, Mike LORENZ, is being disbanded for the public corruption and for the criminal conduct, okay? That's called activity creation while you're holding hands and walking and pacing back and forth, and you're not even interested in the demon that you're touching while you're gang stalking me and they're both obsessed with my vagina. This is P.O.C. It is currently 10:23 p.m.